The most difficult question for a writer is why I write. I never have an answer for this question, so I choose this panel to answer it for myself. Last year, I watched a Hollywood movie called August Rush, in which the main character, a little boy who is a genius musician, is asked by a girl, a talented pianist, "Do you like music more than food?" He answers, "I never forget that things more than food." Yes, it's the same for all artists, creating, playing, writing, everything. All our works are our staple food. Sometimes we need our writing more than food. If you ask me why, I don't know. But I write, I did, I do, and I will go on doing so. Because writing, for me, is more than food. My writing started at very early time in my life. When I was 9, I remember that my first writing was gossip about my family. I wrote about my father, my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, my sister, everyone. I wrote about how I liked and didn't like them, portrayed them as they were. Why didn't my dad let me play outside at night? Why didn't my mom give me more money to spend at school? Why didn't my aunt and my granny buy more toys for me? There were so many reasons and so many questions in my writing. Everyone read it and laughed. They were never angry because of it. In fact, all of them appreciated my writing. They appreciated me for it as well, and they made me more confident. I got into the habit of writing everything I saw and felt. But the war is not always so simple. He is guilty because of his writing. He tried to raise the people against the government to destroy the stability of the nation. In 1989, the judge announced his statement just like that. I was guilty because of my writing. Why was I guilty? I just wrote what I saw, what I felt, like I did in my childhood. Still at that time, I was declared guilty because of my writing. Since my first writing about my family, I have written about everything, sometimes about the tree in my garden, sometimes the birds singing on the branches of the tree in front of my home, sometimes the people living around it, like the paintings of a portrait artist of the house, not really like the painting of a skillful portrait artist, more like the cave paintings of the Stone Age man. In the prehistoric age, man started to express their emotion and experience by painting on the wall of their caves. That was the first literature of mankind. Then picture became alphabet, and painting changed to words. But the expression of emotion and experience never changed. But it doesn't stop there. In the next step, I changed my writing to create another world, a different world that can be seen. Maybe one that only I can see. I create many people who are not real, many events that are not real. Sometimes they are presented as real, sometimes not. In that way, in my writing, what I see doesn't matter. What I feel is the most important thing. Vision is the important thing for the journalism and for non-fiction. Feeling is the important thing for poems, novel, short story, and other creative writing. My professional writing began at the university. When I was 17, in a popular magazine, I wrote a love story. At that age, I was always fond of writing love stories. Friendships were formed at the university for love of reading and writing. All my friends wrote poems, short stories, and novels. Some of us sent our writing to the monthly magazines Some of us made chapbooks and sold them among our friends on campus. University life was rich with literature. I will never forget those days, the sweetest time of my life. But then it was suddenly over. My adolescent life, the sweeter part of the life, my 60th, 70th year, all suddenly gone. All of us lost our youth, and we will never have that time again. In 1988, when the student revolution arose against the dictatorship in Burma, we, the university students, left our studies, our loved ones, our romance, and took part in the revolution. All the poems, the shorts, the novels on the university campus changed, left romance behind to turn to revolution. In 1989, I took the position of editor in a signboard magazine in Nyek, a small town in Tanindari division in the southern part of Burma, and also wrote editorials and a poem. The military regime arrested me for that action, sentenced me to 1 year in prison. But I didn't give up in prison. I continued my writing, especially poems. In Burma, the authorities never allow any pens or paper into the prisons. So we secretly brought ballpoint refill into prisons, used waste paper for writing. Then we tried to take our poems outside when we left prison for quote. All of my writer friends became my collaborators. They published my poems when I was in prisons. In that way, I published a book of underground poems in 1989, but I never got a chance to read that book. Because when I was released, all of my friends had fled to the border. Some of them were dead, some lost, some stayed in prisons. A few of them fled asylum in the United States and all over the world. When I arrived in Iowa, some of these friends came to meet me. For just a few hours meeting, they drove over 10 hours. It's crazy to think about driving so long to meet for just a few moments, but this may have been our only chance to see each other after 20 years. Some people think of me as just an activist, a politician, not a real writer, not a real poet. That doesn't bother me. All of us of my life. In the beginning, as I said, I was a writer. Writing was my food. So after prison, I planned to go back to my writing. There are many politicians, many activists, many former student leaders in Burma. Almost all are in prisons. 17 years after 1988, they were released a few months. They tried to demonstrate for the freedom of Aung San Suu Kyi and the freedom of the people. They were arrested again, this time for over 60 years in prisons. Recently, the government announced amnesty for over 6,000 prisons. But almost all are criminals, just a few political prisoners. And the former student leaders are still in the prisons. They are real heroes, real activists, real politicians, not like me. I am just a writer. After my time in prisons, I never participated in any political activities again. But I still write about the injustice and oppression in our country. With my fame and my writing, I always try to describe the real things that happen in our country, how the people are suffering. Sometimes I write articles based on what I see. Sometimes I create novels and poems based on what I feel. After university, I became a commercial film director and create more films and less literature. I lost my chance to write. Commercial film in Burma makes for a hell of a living. I have written many screenplays and made many films in my life, all according to the audience desire. Almost all are love story. I created many characters, many dramas, many fiction, all according to my country film industry. I had to make movies every month. So much creation. I hated that, but I couldn't escape it if I wanted to make a living. I needed a place to hide from that commercial hell, and at last I found a place, writing. My first artistic love. So I write again and again. I write everything that is in my heart, everything, every word. I get to live my life again. I write everything I see, everything I feel about the people, about our country. So authorities have censored my writings. They never allow my writing in monthly magazines and journals legally distributed in Burma. So I do my writing on Facebook. A few days ago, they made an announcement that people who write on Facebook against the government, the authorities, and official organizations are punishable by 5 years in prisons. My readers around the world send me a warning. Be careful, that is pointed at you. But I don't care because I am writer. I need to write no matter how they threaten me. I can never stop my writing again. Even if they arrest me, I will go on writing in prison because this is not only for the people's freedom, but also the freedom of my heart, my soul, my everything. I love writing. I can live without writing. It is more than food to me. So whatever I face, I will go on writing until last breath.